The Battle of Quoris was over. Both forces were utterly spent, with neither side holding a firm advantage. The main thrust of the attacking force had been defeated, but at a great cost. The city itself had been reduced to ruin and ash. More importantly, the defenders were too few to launch any kind of counteroffensive. Neither side would be able to withstand a concerted attack, but neither side was in the position to make one. As minor skirmishes between the survivors continued throughout the ruins, the leaders of the various forces assessed their options. Janus had committed the bulk of his Hive fleet to the invasion, and his forces had been severely weakened. He remained confident, however, that his forces could take this world in time. Tyranids excelled at the long game, lying in wait, slowly building their strength while sapping the enemy morale. Once present on a world, a Tyranid infestation was extremely difficult to completely eradicate. Janus thus withdrew his remaining broods from the ruined city. Oman would be their staging ground, where the Tyranids could keep their enemies weak and rebuild their armies for the final attack. Shadzo Saifa had fought Tyranids long enough to know they were a threat that could not be left unchecked. With reinforcements soon to be arriving from the Tau fleet, Saifa knew he could not withdraw until the forces of Hive Fleet Abyss were defeated decisively. Gazing out over the ruined city, Saifa also sensed another opportunity. All of the forces on Oman had fought against the Tau in the past by launching his own campaign to defeat the survivors and take Oman for the Tau. Saifa could eliminate many threats to the Empire at once. Farseer Oron knew that to retreat from Oman and allow the children of Oman to rebuild would make the Chaos threat greater than ever before. The wounded Wolf Lord Ragnos was similarly unwilling to retreat. Too much blood had been spilled to allow him to accept any outcome other than total victory. However, the few surviving Eldar and Space Wolves' forces were insufficient to launch any kind of offensive against the enemy. Together, the two forces withdrew to the surrounding desert, where the Eldar began constructing Wraith Gates to bring more reinforcements to the world. The Eldar and Space Wolves would remain on Oman until their job was complete. Warlord Vogren was tremendously satisfied. He had not had a fight as good as the battle for Quoris in a long time. He had lost most of his boys, but that is to be expected in a right and proper fight. The notion of withdrawal did not even cross the warlord's mind. No orc worth the name was going to leg it while the enemy was digging in. With the cheerful try-again attitude common to his race, Vulgrim contacted his fleet. He was going to need a lot more boys to finish things off properly. As the din of the battle faded, Sotur received a strange and garbled message from one of the cryptex he had sent to examine the outlying areas of Oman. The cryptex reported that something had been found, but the message went dead before details could be relayed. Undaunted by the losses suffered by his forces, Sotur resolved to remain until he could fully investigate the coordinates contained in the message. Despite his satisfaction at the potential rediscovery on one of his lost outposts, there was something about the audio recording that unsettled Sotur. In the background, he swore he heard something, like something from a half-remembered dream. He was certain the laughing he heard was familiar, but he could not remember how. And finally, Tavos Efri gazed out at the ruins of what had been his capital city. The children of Oman had borne the brunt of the fighting. More than half his brethren had fallen during the battle, and the toll on the city's civilian population had been considerable. Tsar, one of the only ones to escape without serious injury, was directing the evacuation of the wounded to Madik, Omelqua's second city. Despite himself, Efru smiled. The children of Oman had suffered grievous losses before and survived. The fight for their homeland was not over. The Battle of Quoris was over, but the Third War for Omelqua was simply beginning.
Okay.
Hear that, Shaughn? That's all.
It's done.
No more.
No more. Just stop watching right now.
Nothing to see here.
Nope.
Just...
Did our fire go out?
When did that happen?
What the hell?
What were you doing? You need to be on top of this. Come on, man.
Weak sauce, man. Weak sauce. Why you gotta bring that weak sauce up in my house? And yeah,
Watch
the mic. This is going so well.
And is it still recording? Okay, release that.